Good evening. This is the meeting of the Police Accountability Board for Prince George's County, Maryland. Today's date is November 18th, 2025. The time is now 6:33 p.m. I'll go ahead and call the roll. Since all members are participating virtually, just for the record, if we can just say present virtually. Vice Chair James,
Present virtually.
Dr. Coleman,
Present virtually.
Mrs. Bryant, okay, Mrs. Maxwell,
Present virtually.
Mrs. Springs,
Present virtually.
Mr. Melton, Mr. Sanchez,
Present virtually.
Mr. O'Neill.
Present virtually.
9 here. All right, we definitely have quorum. Did I forget anyone? I just wrote everyone's name down, so I apologize. Just pick up on our agenda. I'm so used to the well-prepared staff just having everything printed out for us, so my fault while I shuffle some papers. Here we go. All right. Next up is the adoption of the agenda. This one would like to make a motion to adopt the agenda.
I move to adopt the agenda presented.
Motion to
Second.
adopt the agenda as presented was made by Vice Chair James. I'm sorry, did not catch the second. Was that you, Mrs. Maxwell? Thank you, ma'am. All right. All members to adopt, all in favor of adopting the agenda as presented, say aye or raise your hand. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing that there's none, unanimous, the agenda is adopted. Next up, the review and approval of the minutes from October 8th, 2025's meeting. Does anyone need additional time in reviewing those minutes? Okay. So, hearing that no one needs additional time, is someone going to make a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll move that we adopt the October 8th, 2025 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. Motion to adopt the minutes from October 8th, 2025 made by Mr. Sanchez. Is there a second?
Second.
That was, I'm sorry, I didn't catch the voice. Oh, Dr. Coleman. Thank you, ma'am. All right. Seconded by Dr. Coleman. All in favor to adopt the minutes from October 8th, 2025, say aye. Or raise your hand. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstaining? That being said, minutes are adopted unanimously. Thank you. Moving up next onto the agenda item will be the OICPA PAB Administrative and Projects update from staff members. Would that be you, Ms. O'Guiney, by chance? Ma'am?
Yes.
That mute button is always hard to find.
Sorry.
No worries.
I do have a couple of updates. I know that the agenda is quite late in today. I do have a number of legislative updates. I want to ask that I reserve, you all reserve a portion of the next meeting for me. We have the Maryland General Assembly that's starting in January. And so I would like to brief you all on the upcoming legislation that's happening, to also give you a briefing of what happened when we went to Baltimore. We are going to be collaborating with some of the other PABs on legislation that we have some of our common interests, and how we are anticipating that we're going to handle that in the upcoming legislative session. And there are also some pieces of legislation that I sent to you all, some policies with regard to how law enforcement in Maryland is supposed to be interacting with federal agents with regard to immigration matters and all those other things that the Attorney General has set up new policy, as well as some legislation on the federal side that I'm hoping that you all would write a letter of support with regard to police accountability that will have impact nationwide. That even though it does not impact us locally, I think that it would be good to have the PAB on the record as supporting this nationwide legislation. So those are the things that I want to talk about. But I think for now, I would like to sort of schedule it to brief you all at the next meeting, if
Okay.
that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Ms. Ogeni. Seems like you're gonna need the whole meeting with all that stuff. But thank you so much for that. All right, next up, subcommittee reports and updates. First up will be appointments and nominations. Is Mr. Melton here? Okay, is there anyone that would like to speak on his behalf on the subcommittee that participates with him? All right, so let's do this. If he does join, I know the weather is kind of messy, so if he does join later, we'll come back to him. So we'll just move for right now. And Mr. Melton also had cases and complaints, so we'll move that too. So if he comes back down. Community outreach, Mrs. Bryant.
Good evening, everyone.
Good
The only
evening.
thing I have to report is that we are scheduled for the Woodlawn Homeowners Association on Thursday, which I'll be doing the presentation. And hopefully Tangi can help with the slides.
That's this Thursday, Mrs. Bryant?
Yes,
Yeah, okay, yeah, so that, thank you.
and I think you guys have got the link.
Yeah.
It's virtual. And that's all I have right now.
Okay. All right, cool. Thank you so much. Next, community outreach. No, wait a minute, sorry, legislation and recommendations, annual report recommendation. Vice Chair, Mr. James.
Good evening to the board members. The Legislation and Recommendations Committee, I think we have a report. I'm not sure if I think you received it back, but we can go through that report in particular, some of the items to bring to your attention to make sure we take action. So you have the written report, but I will go through a couple of those items just to bring you up. We are still working through the board member removal clause. Got to continue to work through that, and we'll get some updates on where we are with that. We had originally planned to have that request in by October 15th. Unfortunately, that was not done, so we'll have to make a plan and schedule that task to get it addressed as soon as possible, as that commission, that Charter Review Commission, is continuing to meet and can get to that subject matter sometime soon. So we need to make sure we get that done so we don't miss that opportunity. So that will be another item to bring back to the board with an update at the next meeting. Another one is that we're looking at the final disciplinary outcomes, continue to do that. We did have a meeting with the ACC administrator to kind of talk about how that is working out in particular. And I'll jump back to that in just a little bit, but we definitely were able, thank you to the subcommittee members who were able to attend that meeting, Mr. O'Neill, Ms. Maxwell, as well, Dr. Coleman, for attending that meeting and that conversation, and we'll circle back to that. We didn't have any particular questions for the Chiefs meeting. We do have a recommendation section to bring to you all for your review and approval. So we want to make sure that we have that done so that it can be included in the upcoming annual report. So the Legislation and Recommendation Subcommittee has done that, and we'll go over that momentarily as well. The final one is circling back to our discussion. We did have a meeting, and the notes detail the meeting that we had with staff of the ACC and kind of what we were advised of and a couple of things. In particular, some policy guidance that was being followed by the ACC. We want to make sure we understand where that is and kind of how that came about, and make sure that it's in sync with what we're doing, especially if there are recommendations. So the subcommittee is recommending that the board meet with the ACC to discuss the operating processes, policy guidance, and ways to collaborate on policies to improve policing and officer disciplinary outcomes. So again, we think that having that meeting with that board, with that group, is the appropriate thing to do to make sure we understand kind of how both are operating. So Those are kind of the notes, and you can have those for your review. The recommendations went out. I think, Crystal, were those able to be sent out to the board members? Just double checking, yes or no. I'm not sure. I didn't see them in email. Well, there is a recommendations. We have the draft of those recommendations to share with the board so that they can be included. Those recommendations just at the high level, not the rationale that goes behind each of them, which is in the document that we provided to you. One is the requiring all law enforcement agencies under PAB's jurisdiction to submit a monthly status report. It's something that we started working on. We've gotten some guidance about what we may or may not need to do legislatively, but we want to make sure that we're kind of adopting that, and then as a board working on that recommendation implementation over the course of the next year. So that's number one. The second is develop a collaborative partnership with those agencies that are not directly under our purview, but they operate in the county. So that we can have insight for those. So as those are, for example, state police or Maryland National Capital Park Police, we want to develop a way to make sure that we're having data and insight, particularly for those agencies that are operating within the county that don't necessarily report through our PAB or ACC. They report to the statewide one, but just making sure we have the data as it may be relevant to our community. The third one is the adoption and implementation by law enforcement officers. By law enforcement agencies for the use of alternative mediation, something that we've discussed with chiefs as well as a way to look at third-party mediators to address complaints that may be expedited a lot faster and get resolution to the community a lot faster. Quarterly community outreach events that we've talked about before, kind of adopting that and the strategy to put that in place. And then the fifth one is to develop a working group to review the disciplinary matrix with a focus on developing criteria for low-level infractions that are not involving a member of the community that may be potentially, that can be appropriately resolved within the agency. Again, something that we heard from the chiefs as a potential source of improvement to that overall process. But again, we want to get the feedback to make sure we have that accurately captured for that recommendation, and most importantly for our measuring success for that in the upcoming year. So those are the 5 recommendations that are currently being presented to you all for consideration and adoption by the subcommittee members. I do want to step back, and if any of the subcommittee members, if they have something they would like to add, I want to make sure I give them the opportunity to weigh in on that as well. So if any of the subcommittee members want to add anything to either the report from our last meeting or the recommendations. So hearing none, seeing some head shakes. Mr. Chair, the report has been provided as a, with coming out of the subcommittee for adoption by the full board for inclusion in the annual report.
Thank you, sir.
Do you need a motion to include that in the annual report, or you can just do it?
If I may, because it came out of the subcommittee, it's already has its own motion second. So at this point, it's for the board to consider for adoption. So it came out of subcommittee.
Oh, okay. Well, I make a motion that we adopt the report as stated.
I'll second.
Okay. Did everyone receive the report as an opportunity to review?
Yes.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
2 months ago, a month
Okay.
ago.
I was just checking. So what the motion was made by Mr. James. No, I'm sorry. It wasn't made by Ms. Bryant.
Yes.
And who was the second? Mrs. Maxwell? Was
Yes.
it? Okay, great. Thank you so much. Motion made to adopt the recommendations as it appears. All in favor, say aye or raise your
Aye.
hand.
Aye.
Any noes? Okay, unanimous. Adopted. Thank you. Next up, data analysis. That would be Dr. Coleman.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I am waiting on, and the data hasn't come yet, I don't think. I can confirm with Ebony. Waiting for the data, the rest of the year's data, remainder of the year's data, so we can add to the annual report. As Mr. James says, it's that time. But we are farther ahead than we are typically because we already have 6 months worth of data. So it's just crunching the rest of the 6 months worth of data. So it'll be complaints, allegations, and dispositions. And so it'll be similar to last year's report. I'm thinking of doing a few more tests to try to dig down into the data, depending on what the rest of the data say. So I don't want to say too much, but if there's more data that I think that needs to be explained a little bit differently, then I will definitely bring that to the board once we get it. But I don't want to sort of make any promises that I'll do additional analysis until we see it. So yeah, just looking forward to receiving that data sometime in early December, so we can add it to what we already have, and we should be good to go for the annual report.
Okay.
That's all I have for now.
Thank you, Dr. Coleman.
May I just wanted to add that Tangi and I are working with Mr. O'Neill as well to complete the section on the community outreach. Basically, it's the things that we have done over the year. And we should have that ready very shortly.
Next up, annual report. So we kind of went over everything. I'd like to find out so we can get a solid date of when we want to have everything ready so that we can start working on it and put that together and submit it to the staff. I'm looking at the calendar. So let me bring it up.
Is December 15th a reasonable date?
That would be the Monday.
That would be the 17th then.
So
15th to have it circulated, and then we can vote on it on the 17th.
right now, I want to ask. I know Ms. Ogeni is here. Ms. Ogeni, is that enough time?
It's actually not. To be honest with you, we are, because of staff vacation and everything, I mean, we had hoped to have it by, quite frankly, now, so that whatever you guys give us, we usually will send it to communications in order to, once we get the data in and all the language, we have to actually send it out to be laid out by communications. And so if it's due by the 30th and you give it to us by the 15th, it still has to go out and still be processed. So it's already late. But I would push to have it, quite frankly, first week in December.
I was looking around the 9th. That's what I had. But you said the first week in December. So if we got it to you by the 5th, which is that Friday, that's feasible. So that's
It would have to be the latest, the 5th. I mean, if you guys say the 5th and then we get it on the 12th, I mean, it's still.
Well, let's aim for December 1st.
yeah, yep. So are we all in the room? Sorry, I saw a hand. Was it Mr. James? Did you have your hand up, sir?
Yeah, my question, Crystal did address it. One is that I know it has to go through some level of review and layout that is completely outside of, our board, our staff. So I think we need to make sure we factor that in. And I think our meeting right now is scheduled for December 10th. So if we are going to make some final decisions, I think December 10th would be the latest date I think we would have available to make those decisions. So the first seems like a much better option and opportunity. And if we can read and review, socialize so that we can make sure that it is at its final state by the 10th, I think that's appropriate for us to then be able to get it to communications and give them 10 days or so, considering there's holiday and folks' times off too.
Are we looking at December 1st, like Mrs. Bryan said? That's what we should aim for. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Okay. And then that way, by the next meeting we have, we can review it and take a look at it. All right. Let me put that down.
So I'm confused. I've heard the 1st, I've heard the 10th.
We're going with the 1st.
Okay, good. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Oh,
The
you heard
meeting
the
is on the
first.
10th.
I'm sorry.
That's the only thing I was saying. If we can get it by the 5th,
Oh.
Meaning the staff
That's what I
can be
heard.
sent out to us so that we can review it so that we are ready to approve it on the 10th. So if
And
it's
that's it.
the first,
The
then
10th is too late.
okay, too late. Well, I
It's
don't.
too late.
Okay.
It's too late because remember, like I said, once the staff gets it, we still have to send it out. And that by then we're butting up against not just our own schedules, but the schedules of the people that are in communications. So we can't tell them, oh, we're getting something on the 10th, slot it in your schedule. We have to actually have it in hand by the first week so that we know we're getting it back by the 10th or the 18th and have it, so that we can vet it, make changes and all that by the third week, because there's nothing that gets done, quite frankly, after the 18th. I mean,
So
if we're
for the
honest
data,
about it.
for the data piece, which is, I think, why I sort of argued that we should do it on county fiscal year because of this, because it always runs up against this. And so this is predating most all of you all staff, that I said early on that we should do it by county fiscal year because we would already have the data. And
Right.
so we're going to be waiting to get it. And if
Agreed.
if I get it at the end of November, well, that's fine, but that'll be 11 months. That won't be a full calendar year versus if we had gone on fiscal year. But I think for next year, I'm going to have to put my foot down and say, if we're going to
Yeah.
do this, it's got to be by county fiscal year because it doesn't make any difference the time as long as you get 12 months worth of data.
Right.
So that's what the sort of the rub is going to be. But if I can get any data by next week, I know it's Thanksgiving week is coming up, then I'll work to crunch. But that's sort of
We'll
always
make
been
sure
the
you get
rub.
that data. Yeah, I'll
Okay.
talk to Ebony and just make sure that you get whatever data we have, just whatever you need, we'll get it to you. It's
Okay.
just really, really important because of course, if you guys tell us the first, I know that we probably will get it the 5th, but if you tell us the 10th, then we'll probably get it. Do you know what I mean? So we want to make sure that we build in some wiggle room, but when you're literally giving it to another department, there's only so much that you can build in, especially if it's around the holidays. And I don't want to, it's my job to make sure that what I'm telling you guys that we as a staff can deliver to you and to make sure that I'm giving you all realistic deadlines.
Okay. All right, so I was just putting that in my calendar. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that, Ms. Organia. Thank you, Dr. Coleman. Okay, so got the date. And then let me just go back to my notes. Okay, and so then I guess when we put it together, I know that looking at a lot of the other annual reports, I think, and speaking with some citizens, I think that they're really concerned about the complaints. So the complaint data should really be part of the should be highlighted. And I think Dr. Coleman had mentioned it, like the allegations, the dispositions, um, the number of complaints, and break it down to like the departments, the LEAs, and things like that. So I think that we should look for the top 5 maybe complaint categories, kind of try to drill down to that. We're going to have some one-offs, but I know we had said before like what categories we were looking for. So I know you have all of that, Dr. Coleman, on your data dashboard, I call it. So this should be an easy lift for you. But so yeah, I think that that's the most important thing on the highlight areas that we need to focus on for the citizens.
I see that Mr. Nelson is online now. You want to
Yes,
go
ma'am,
back?
I saw that. Um, Next up, we're going to go ahead and we'll come back to Mr. Melvin. It's the strategic plan. Mr. Sanchez, sir.
Sure. So I'm going to be referring to a document that I emailed out October 22nd to everyone. So if you can pull that up, we have five goals that we set up in our strategic plan. So one of the things that we want to do is to make sure that we were still on track. And in order to do that, we wanted to basically, now that we have subcommittees, a lot of these goals and the milestones that are within these goals, a lot of them fit within the work that these subcommittees are doing. So in order to better keep track of where we are in terms of accomplishing these goals, I volunteered to go through and basically, as best as I could, assign to different subcommittees the milestones for the different goals. So I wanted to go through them real quick. There are some areas I think where it seemed pretty obvious, or other areas where I may have placed two separate things in there, just because I felt that I'd rather have the committee kind of make a decision, the board make a decision as a whole, versus me just because I felt like that was a little bit more ambiguous. So if you're looking at the document, all the way at the bottom of the document is a quick key that has the definitions for what the for what those letters mean on the right hand side. So obviously we have our committees, that's appointments and nominations, cases and complaints, community outreach, data analysis, and legislation and recommendations. On top of that, I also then created two more sort of categories. One for the committee as a whole, for things that we are all responsible for, and then also one for executive team, which would be the chair and the vice chair, because there were a few items that it felt like we should probably assign more so to the executive team to ensure that they're being accomplished. So I guess to make it easy on everyone, I can just run through these real quick, and as long as we have agreement, I'll kind of say them out as I saw them. If there are any discussions or anything, I'll just be looking at my screen for hands or anyone that wants to jump in if you have any commentary on that. So under goal one, we had meeting with law enforcement agency heads. That felt like that's a committee as a whole. We all are a part of those meetings. Attending two PGC-PCA meeting, so that's the Police Chiefs Association, that I put under the executive team. I know the chair has gone. I know I've attended in the past. We've had other members to go, but it felt like more than likely it would be the executive team that would go, but obviously other members would be allowed. But it felt like that's probably where we wanted to go with that. Inviting the head of the PGC-PCA to one meeting. Also, if it's an invitation that's going out, I think invitations should go from the chair and the vice chair to individuals if they're being invited to the board. That's just my thinking, but if the invitation should come from the entire board, that's also fine. And hold coffee chats with chiefs. That's committee as a whole. I think that kind of ties in with the LEA heads milestone that's also in this goal. Invite sheriff and Prince George's County chief to meet with the PAB. Once again, if it's an invite, I think it should be coming from the chair and the vice chair as an invitation to people to come to meet with us. And then solicit input from LEAs for annual report. We could do it as a letter from the committee as a whole or from the executive team. That's one where I just wanted to see how members of the board felt, if they felt that it should be coming from the entire board if we're soliciting an input for the annual report, or if that's just something that should go out from the chair and vice chair. So I guess I'll take a minute to see if anyone's got any comments on any of those recommendations for goal one.
By soliciting input from the LEAs, other than what we've observed, what kinds of input are you referring to?
That wasn't really specified. That was just part of what we wrote in there in our strategic plan. So I think whoever it gets assigned to would be the one that would determine exactly what sort of input you were looking for. But to me, I think in our meetings, we usually ask them if there are recommendations, and those recommendations would end up in our annual report. So I think we're kind of doing it already. without necessarily having to send a letter or something specifically out. And so that's why I kind of vacillated between doing it as a committee as a whole or the executive team, because I think we're already capturing that by asking them that question when we meet with them.
Okay, thank you for clarification.
So by my own statement, I feel like I'm changing my own mind. So I guess we can keep that as committee as a whole then, just to make that, unless there's any. All right, I'll just move on. All right, so moving on to goal 2, forward complaints to LEAs. That's something that staff does already. When they receive the complaints that come in directly to us, they forward them. But that also falls just under the banner of what we do. So that's why I have in there staff and the committee as a whole, because I think as a whole, you're doing it under the banner of the PAB. But staff specifically, logistically, does forward that to the LEAs. Tracking number of days to complete investigations. I wasn't 100% sure if that was something that had been, if that's either a data analysis or cases and complaints tracking of that, or so I put both in there just for that. And then I guess I can go to the next one, which was also conduct review of outcomes based on the matrix. And that also, I wasn't 100% sure who exactly was the one between those two subcommittees that was more so taking the lead on capturing that.
I mean, it sounds like it's essentially just tracking numbers, right?
Yeah.
So if we have some sort of dashboard or data tracking, um, seems like it would just be easy to have data and analysis, since I would imagine everything gonna probably have that already in their data.
When in terms of the number of days to complete investigations, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Any disagreement with that, Dr. Coleman? Okay. Thank you. And then oh, I went way down ahead. I'm sorry. I skipped ahead on myself. All right. So goal 2. Provide PAB members with complaint reports. So I'm assuming that, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. James, your hand is up.
Appreciate it. I think as we were just kind of going through it, I was just wondering if we, as a board, need to go back and look at this, even look at the plan, right? Because I think some of the milestones and deliverables, they may be overcome by events. There might be time, like you said, it might be that we need to just reassign them to a couple different of the subcommittees. So I don't know if that, I appreciate what you've done. I'm just trying to figure out if we need to even update this, because there are tasks that we don't even need to track in this way as the plan laid it out.
Yeah.
It's 2 years old, so it does reflect how we've matured.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think what my suggestion was, my recommendation at the end of this was going to be that one of the first meetings that we have in 2026, we actually go through and edit this to make sure that it makes sense for what we're looking to do now. As you know, right, we pass things as a board and we're held accountable to them until we decide that no longer is what we're holding ourselves accountable to. So I felt the same thing as I was going through. I think there are a lot of items here that made sense before we had subcommittees. But it's also important that we're capturing that this data, information, whatever it is assigned somewhere, so that if we do need it for whatever reason, that we know whose responsibility it is. But there are some things that are duplicative in here. There are other things that I think don't necessarily make sense in the way that they did when we were working on this document some time ago. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy to say I think some of the things in here also apply to the annual report, because there is a section that dealt with the annual report as well. but it seems like the subcommittees have already taken a lot of those things up. So um, I'm either happy to continue going through this list of things and assigning them out, or making a recommendation because some of the things are outdated, that in January we take a look at this, we edit it for what, now that we have subcommittees, assign things out, and we can use this as a sort of a guiding document as we assign those things out, and then pare down some of these metrics so that it makes sense for the work that we're doing now as a board.
Yeah, I think maybe Mr. Sanchez, like you were saying, it would be good to revisit this in January. That way, like we have matured, so some of these things are already being done by some of the subcommittees anyway. So yeah, I think that you did send this out before, so I'm sure everyone is taking a look at it. So if we can just keep that on our plates as one other action item to take, and then in the beginning of the year, I think that we should take a look at that and then adjust this accordingly. So it may even shrink as well. So yeah, okay.
And I see Ms. Bryan's hand is up.
Yeah, Carlo, I just wanted to say, thank you for this work that you did in trying to organize it and make sure it was in the appropriate slot. I see that you put a lot of time and energy into it. And it really does help us to go back to our original plan to see whether, like you said, there's duplicative items and whether we're already doing them. So I appreciate your work. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, I'll hand it back over to the chair then.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. Appreciate that. All right, so I know we have Mr. Mel. I think I saw you, sir. Oh, I did hear you too, and I saw you. Yes.
Yeah, I'm here. I think I hit
Oh, there you
the
go.
camera by accident. So apologies for being late. I got some confusion over the login. I was trying to log in through Teams instead of Zoom. So just to begin with appointments, we actually conducted our AHB interviews, and the subcommittee and those that were able to attend subsequently performed a debrief, which led to us actually selecting 7 new AHB members over the course of 2 nights. We had one issue with one member who actually interviewed and was stellar. However, she does not live in the county. And so we verified that she could not participate based on her address. And so I do believe if you all would like to watch those interviews, I mean, I know they were recorded in closed session. I'm not certain they are available, but if you all recall, we did empower the subgroup to make those determinations, knowing that everyone could not possibly always make these interviews and selections. But we feel good about those individuals using our rubric and scoring system. There was pretty much a consensus. One particular thing that came up is that we did have a gentleman who is not precluded from participation in our AHB because he is not current law enforcement, but he did have a pretty extensive tenure and retired. So we just talked about the evaluation criteria through the interviewing process, and we felt like that was sufficient through his answers, and he gave us pretty much assurances that bias and objectivity wouldn't be an issue. However, we did have a question that may be something the board wants to discuss at a future time, which is, do we want to propose a rule change that someone has to have a certain amount of time since they have last served in law enforcement? So I just share that with the board as something we may want to pick up in the future. In other words, if someone, retired yesterday, do we feel like that's somebody? Do we think as a board, do we think that could create some sort of an issue? Any questions about that before
I do have one, sir. So we do not have anything that is written that states the length of time you have to be separated from prior law enforcement. I
Right.
thought that there was something written already about that. You're saying that there is nothing?
I don't believe so. I
Okay,
believe it's just basically, black and white, like you can't be current law enforcement, you gotta live in the county, things like that, but I don't believe is a time period, um, or an incubation period before you can be eligible.
okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right, so moving on, we also received a letter from the program manager of the Administrative Charging Committee, bringing to our attention that one of our ACC members had an expiration of appointment, and the ACC would have liked to formally recommend that that individual be reappointed. And so they gave us a gleaming sort of report on this individual's conduct and performance over the time that they've served, and asked that we reinstate this person for continued service, and believe that that person's reappointment would continue to give stability and effectiveness to the ACC. Since this is a personnel matter, we may have to go in closed session to vote on it, but that's only if we need to discuss the individual's name and conduct. But if not, and the board feels good about someone having served and having a pretty good record and reputation amongst the ACC, and we don't need to discuss the personnel matter at hand, we can put forward a motion to vote on the person being reassigned. Or I'm sorry, reappointed.
Okay. Okay. So, did you have the date of when the appointment expired?
They did include that this individual expired on June 30th,
Okay.
2025. We received the letter on November 10th.
Okay. All right. And I do believe that I am aware of the ACC member that has done outstanding work, so I can definitely vouch for that. And my recommendation would be a reappointment because they're really good at what they do. So that would be my recommendation.
Yeah.
Mr. James has his hand up. Sorry, Mr. Melton. Mr. James has his hand.
Mhm.
Appreciate it. And just hearing it, thank you, Mr. Melton. Appreciate that. I think as has been the situation with AHB, even the PAB members, there's always been a public announcement for those vacancies, and that has allowed individuals within the community to make application. And so I would support us following the model that has been that precedent for the PAB members, as well as what we just recently did for AHB members, to make sure that there's a public announcement and full transparency in the matter. So that would be my recommendation, is to follow that precedence.
Does the ACC have a limit on the amount of appointments?
They do. It's in the legislation. They are termed 2 terms. So it spells it out. But again, I think using the transparency would be the same thing as PAB members, that we are transparent about it and making a public announcement.
What about the number of ACC members?
And there are 5.
So it only stays at 5?
Yes, there are 2 appointments from the PAB,
Okay.
and then 3, yeah. And so some of the members, I believe, of the PAB has been reappointed as well.
Okay. I think that's valid. Any other thoughts? Okay.
Sorry. So I guess my question then is, we just operate under the sort of understanding then that if those dates come up, people just continue working until either a successor is approved or they are reappointed.
I'm not certain, because I know that is a possibility, but yeah, and I didn't get any inclination that they have excused this person or put a pause on them serving. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
No, I think Oh, God, I'm sorry, Mr. Sanchez.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say that if the county already has a sort of standing that they operate by, in which that's done, I just want to make sure that we're covered because since it is state legislation that drives a lot of this, and then there was obviously county legislation that then more narrowly defines specifics. I just want to make sure that between those we don't find ourselves violating a state or county law, but I think the county would probably step in if we
Okay.
couldn't.
So what's the violation concern? What about would be your concern about a violation of the reappointment or
No,
having a
not the
person set a
reappointment, just continuing to serve without
past your
being
expiration?
appointed. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like if it's our duty to appoint someone, then I would
Mhm.
just want to make sure that,
Yeah.
that's all.
So
I
do
see
that.
Ms. Maxwell's hand is up.
Yeah, thank you. Probably what should happen, if it's not, is that there should be, before their term expires, there should be an extension. There should be a request for an extension just until either they're appointed or or if somebody else gets the slot so that they're acting in the same role, but there's been some kind of a formalized process. So it's not just that they're still in the position, it's an expired term, but there isn't like an extension until someone's appointed or until they're reappointed. And
Yeah.
since this is new, might as well put it out there because that's how a lot of appointments go.
Okay.
But I think aren't we? I guess what it is that we would have to put out like we did the other appointments for the general public to say they want to be a
Whatever the
member.
process is, yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever the process is.
All right. So yeah, I actually think that is a good idea as well. But just before we close the loop on that, since Mr. James, you brought it up, is the idea that if we did get a solicitation out and we received interest, that we would evaluate all parties, including our reappointment, and then deem who is the best for one seat?
Yeah.
Yes,
Because
that's what I would say, and I think that's
okay.
what we'll have to come up and do. As to Ms. Maxwell's point, when the other seat expires, I believe it's next, 26 June of 26. So I think this gives us the opportunity to put the pieces in place, and I think that's the exact same process that has occurred with PAB members. You have to make reapplication, and then they go through that process. But it was definitely announced. There was an application process, and it has that level of transparency. So yes.
Yeah, I just didn't see that there was an evaluation process for PAB. So I just wanted to make sure that our process is to evaluate everyone all over again and then make a determination on best fit or best most suitable, best qualified.
I definitely think there was an evaluation process. I think Mr. Jones probably was maybe one of the more recent ones who went up. He had put it up his application. He had to go before the county council. So he was in that evaluation process before that reappointment occurred, just as an example.
Okay. Was he compared against other applicants or there were no other?
They may have been other applicants and they narrowed down to here's the
Oh, okay.
nominee, but I don't
Okay.
know full.
Okay. Okay. So I think we got two things on the table. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Maxwell.
That's all right. I'm because I thought you were saying initially, Mr. James, that there should be an announcement for others if they're interested before just reassigning somebody to a seat, but not that the person that's already in it think it's reevaluated. That's a little different because unless there's some, I mean, arguably, yes, something could change within the 4 years of their term. It's just different. So you're saying that they have to reapply again. I was thinking that you had to advertise it in case somebody else wants to apply, not that the person that's already been seated and evaluated gets reevaluated.
Understood. I think that may be what I am saying is the process that I've understood with
I'm
others,
like,
they had to reapply.
Interesting.
I mean, I literally person had to reapply. So that's why I'm just saying, I know, fill out all this full paperwork, do it all. There may be others that had to do the same thing.
Mr. Melton, you can.
So I was just trying to confirm, oh, okay. All right. So I was just reaching out to see if there was a solicitation for Daniel Jones, who
Mhm.
had an expiration. Apparently there was not, and that he was just reappointed because he expressed an interest. That's why I asked about what do we want our process to be, because if you can serve 2 terms, that makes sense. But obviously, if there's other people who want to serve in that seat, we have to be able to make a determination on how we want to select who we want to choose. And if that results in someone being reassigned, I'm sorry, reappointed. Um, so I think we need a motion on that to see if people agree with that process. I think we also need a motion on doing an extension, which I believe could be retroactively applied, and we could select a deadline or a date that we believe that that person that's currently serving would then go to based on our reappointment schedule.
I, I,
Mr.
let me,
Sanchez?
I wanted to say, the person can serve until we put out the announcement or whatever, and he would have to apply again.
Mhm.
Then we would do the evaluation. If Like we went through the process and interview other people who might have wanted it, then we can pick that person if we feel that he's over the other new people. That's what I think. That's the way we have to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what's on the table. So
Right.
we just need a motion to vote on those things to make sure everybody's in consensus. But also, I don't think having an extension is a bad idea, because again, it just creates more transparency and formalizes the fact that they went past their extension, but they're active now, as opposed to being a sitting member who has expiration, expired appointment. Mr. Sanchez.
Yeah, just I guess just as an alternative, and I don't know, Ms. Maxwell, if maybe this is what you're referring to. I almost feel as if though, for if we know that there are up to 2 terms that individuals can do, if a vacancy comes up, we should ask if the person wants to continue one. If they don't, then obviously we have to go out and search for someone. But if they do, then I think the second thing would be to then evaluate whether the person has done what we've needed them to do, and if there isn't a cause to necessarily go in a different direction, it saves us some work as well, because then we're giving them the option of staying or going. Second, then we ourselves have a process to evaluate them, not against other people, but in doing the work itself. And, if there's any issue, and then it makes it that process makes it easier for us. But if the individual says, hey, I'm good, then yeah, we go through a process of going out there and searching. But I think we might be adding a little bit more work than we necessarily need to, knowing that at the most it's just one more term before the person will have to go. And then we just need to do a better job of being on top of these dates so that we're capturing this process 6 months before it comes up, because obviously the replacement process is going to take some time, an announcement, getting applications and everything else. But my alternate suggestion would be a process where we give the individual, if they're eligible, a chance to say whether they want to continue. If they do, then we as a committee evaluate whether we want to keep that person in. And if we don't, then we go through a process. But if we do, we can just reappoint them in that moment.
But I think we can't do that because it's just like us. We had to reapply. And so an announcement went out for other people. They may not reappoint me back with somebody else. I'm just talking about the council or whatever. So I'm
So
saying,
that didn't happen though. There was no announcement for the vacancy.
uh,
Well,
Are we
that's what
talking about one of these
that's what I'm
positions? What are we
saying.
talking
You
about?
got it. We have to do an announcement that it is a vacancy, I think. And then that person whose term expired, he has to reapply along with the other people.
Yeah, I was just confirming that didn't happen for us, is what I was saying. I'm not saying
And most
we
boards that
can't make
doesn't.
that choice, but I was just confirming.
I'm new to this board, but most boards don't work that way where you reapply for a second term. It goes the way Carlos was just discussing in terms of their term is up. You then decide, is this person, meeting, and then if they are, then they are reapply for their second term. It's not a competition where they're reapplying in terms of an interview to be seated again. And that's why I raised my hand initially, because I'm like, that's new. But if that's how this is done here, okay, but that's not how it routinely is when when you can do up to 2 terms. They don't have to reapply in terms of interviewing unless it's not working out and you're like, you have a discussion.
Mhm.
And I
So
think that,
we need to decide how we want, because
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ms. Maxwell, go ahead, man.
I'm done. I was just saying I was agreeing with
Carla,
Carlo on
yeah,
Mr.
I,
Sanchez
I agree
on
with
his articulation of the process.
I agree too,
Okay.
as well. And Mr. Melton said that there was no announcement. I think that's the reason that there is a second term to be reappointed. I think given first refusal to the person that serves. So I thought that if they're interested, I think that it's what you said, Mrs. Maxwell, and what Mr. Sanchez says. I think I support as well. And I believe Mr. Melton was saying that too, right, sir?
Well, I was just putting it out there that
Oh, okay.
both processes are valid. I was just saying we just need to make a decision on what we want to do.
Okay.
And it
Yes.
sounded like we weren't necessarily clear on. I think we
Yes.
were trying to make it mirror what our process was, and I confirmed that we don't actually do that. We don't have um,
To reapply.
essentially a recompete. We don't have to go back out and see if we have to interview against other people to get our seat back. But again, that's just for us to decide what we want.
All right, I guess to just cut through it, and I'm going to make a motion. If people don't agree with it, we can just vote it down, and then we make an alternate. I think that's the easiest way to do this. So I'll make a motion that for a process of reappointment to someone who's eligible for a second term, that we inquire with the individual whether they want to continue on the board. Then we have a discussion to evaluate whether we want them to remain, and then vote whether we want them to remain or not on the board and reappoint them.
Motion made by Mr. Sanchez. Is there a second to that motion?
Right. Clarification, I need the motion to say ACC.
I'm sorry, Ms. Can you repeat that? You kind of went down. Sorry.
The motion did not specify ACC, and we need that for the record.
Oh,
My
gotcha.
apologies. Yes. So I make a motion that for reappointments for ACC members who are still eligible for a second term, that we inquire with the individual whether they want to continue, and if they do, that then we as a board evaluate and vote to reappoint or not reappoint them at that time.
Second.
All right. Motion for reappointments to the ACC for members that are interested in serving for a second term. That we go ahead and get confirmation that that candidate wishes to be reappointed. And it was made by Mr. Sanchez. Hopefully, I got everything for you, Ms. O'Guiney. And then it was seconded by Mrs. Bryant. All members to accept that recommendation on the floor, raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? So I think I saw one hand was Mr. O'Neill who was opposed. Okay. Was there anyone else? Okay, cool. So everyone, so it was 8 yes and 1 no, Mr. O'Neill. Okay, thank you. Did you get that, Miss O'Gany? I'm sorry. You got the count, man?
Yes,
You
I
can just,
got it.
okay, you can just give me thumbs up. I know. Thank you so much, man. All right, thank you, Mr. Melton. That one. Is there anything else, Mr. Melton?
No, that kind of took care of the need for an extension. But
Okay,
I do like that idea Mrs. Maxwell gave, that if we do run into this issue where someone is expiring on their second term,
mhm,
and we're not prepared to do a reappointment at that time, we should definitely exercise an extension.
provide an extension. Okay, with the understanding, okay, that if they wanted to,
Well, yeah, like if there's any reason why someone's going to go past the expiration date with no decision, then we
right,
need to exercise an extension.
right, just to be
But
covered.
if their
Okay,
appointment is the second term and they're ending, and we know we
yeah,
don't have an appointment when we have to do
then
something.
we move on, right? And so I think the process, understanding that, then we would know sooner than later whether we can start that process to put out the announcement and um, start interviewing as we did the first time.
Yeah, and I may, what I'll do is I'll work with staff to see if we can get a list of members and their expiration dates so that we have that available.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Noted. We'll make sure we get that.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Ms. O'Kenny. And was that it, Mr. Melton?
Yes.
We put you to work tonight, sir, so thank you for that. All right, cool, thank you. And then, Mr. Melton, you, I guess once the member expresses interest, you'll send that information out and anything that they send along with it, right?
The reappointment person?
Yes, sir, for the ACC.
Yeah. Yeah, we can have staff share the recommendation letter, and then
Okay,
we can let them know that we came to this decision, and that if that person would like to formally accept, that they can be reappointed for a second term.
okay, so it sounds like we need to do this sooner rather than later too, am I right? Or if not, then they would have to definitely have some type of an extension letter. So I think that we should move on that and act on that. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Melton.
Yeah.
Right, so clarify next steps. So next steps is to reach
Contact
out.
Isabella, program manager, and
Okay,
confirm that this individual would like to exercise their second term,
okay.
and let them know that the board will support that based on the
Okay,
grant.
do we do that in writing? Do I do that in writing and send back to you all to verify or to sign off on that before I send it to her?
What, I'm
How do
sorry,
you,
I'm just confused on what part you want to verify in writing, like an email?
well, once we verify that the person wants to continue, how do we say the PAB would like for you to continue in this position?
Okay.
That's what I'm asking.
Some
Yeah,
type of confirmation letter that she's been reappointed.
Right.
yeah,
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah. So I need that. And so what I'm asking essentially is, do I circle back to you all with that confirmation letter? Do we wait until the next meeting? How, since we need to do this kind of quickly, I just needed some clarification from you all about how you want to do that.
yeah. You can just, I don't want to speak for the entire board, but I think it makes sense that we just voted and confirmed that we're willing to
Right.
move forward when anyone has
Okay.
a second term available based on history and performance.
Okay.
And then just confirming that for us via email lets us know that the person accepted. And I think
Okay. All right.
that's
Okay.
the loop for us.
All right. Just confirming.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Melton, and thank you, Ms. O'Gany. All right. Next, sorry, back up.
Can I just make sure I'm clear on that process? Once we hear
Oh,
back, I think Mr. Sanchez was saying that at some point, I would assume we would have a closed session to discuss that, or I'm using the word evaluation and make that decision on the reappointment. So I think that's the piece that I'm trying to close. When does that make sense? When does that happen? I think is what I was trying to get to.
I just got a piece of intel that the ACC has already confirmed that she is interested in continuing. So I think that that part of the process has already been cut out. So we know that she is interested.
So then at some point we would need to have the closed conversation to make the decision on the reappointment or not.
Yep.
I think we just
Wait,
had, they just had that.
But I'm confused. What are we confirming? Like, what information do we need to do in closed session? Because right now we have a recommendation letter that basically dignified that the person has did a phenomenal job and we would like them to be reappointed from the ACC. So if that's not enough, then we need to gather more information to discuss in closed session.
That's enough for me.
But if that is enough, I don't know what we will be discussing.
Mr. James, have your hand up.
I just did not lower it from earlier, so that's all it is. I will say I think it goes to a conversation because I understand what you're saying with the letter, but I think these board members should each have their opportunity to weigh in, and they may vote in favor. It very well could be that, but that's my opinion.
I'm open to a motion to vote on it. I'm open to a motion to go in closed session. I was just, again, if people don't have anything more than the letter, I just need to go get that information. But if that's all we have, I don't know what we would be discussing since we just discussed that we would want to move forward with someone who's willing and recommending.
To be reappointed. Okay. Anyone else?
Does anybody else want to vote, chime in on that? Or do you all feel comfortable? I mean, I just want to hear what's the consensus.
Your motion is to go in a closed session to discuss the person?
I think it was just a question if that's what we would be doing as a next step. We did get confirmation that the person is interested in serving a second term.
Okay.
So it sounded like Mr. James felt like it might be a good additional measure to discuss the person for reappointment.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. That's what I was going to say, go into closed session and discuss it briefly.
So just for the record, okay, so we go into closed session, what will we be discussing, just so I'm clear?
I don't know.
Just briefly who the person is, because even though I don't know who evaluated that person, but the whole committee hasn't.
Yeah, we don't have any, I mean, we don't have any, there's no tangible information for us to evaluate the person on other than a recommendation from the ACC.
Yeah, there was no metrics.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Sanchez, your hand is up, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I guess my motion established a process. And for me, I guess the sort of the question that sits out there for me is I haven't seen the letter, so I don't even know who we're talking about. So can we say the name in public here? Do we have to go into closed session? So that at least we hear the name and we say, this is the individual, their term is ending, we have a letter of recommendation, then we could have a quick discussion. And if someone has a concern or they want more information, then we would kind of have to go get that. But we could also just say, here's who it is, here's the recommendation, and then is the board comfortable moving this forward? At the very least, if that's something that we could do in open session, then I think we could just knock that out right now. And then if for whatever reason, the
name and what's at stake is fine. I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If we say the name,
reservations and all that, I think needs to be in closed session.
Yeah, so for me, I think if we could present the name, say that we have that letter of recommendation, and then if a board member says, I would like to discuss, then we give the ability for a board member to then take us into closed session to have that discussion. But if that doesn't happen, then I think we can just have a vote right now, and that way we aren't even in doubt of to what the process is.
Yeah, I see Mrs. Maxwell hand, and I'll go after her. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. No, I think Mr. Sanchez just clarified it, because what you also don't want is if somebody does have an issue, you don't want them to say that on public record with a name out there.
Bang. Yeah, absolutely. So, how about this? How about we just take somebody make the motion to approve the recommendation from the ACC for the reappointment of the member, and we'll take a vote. Is that what we can do? And then we can just take a vote and move on. If it's enough, then we move forward. If not, no. Or we just want to go into closed session to have a discussion.
I think if Mr. Melton, I'd be willing to have Mr. Melton just give us a name and then formally tell us that you have a letter of recommendation from the ACC. And then we can just ask if anyone would like to have a conversation in closed session about this individual.
Gotcha.
If no, then we can then make a motion to just appoint them.
So before we do that, I don't know if the name or the letter would do anything. Does anyone have anything that they'd wish to go into closed session? We can cut to that now.
Can we say the person's name in closed session? I mean, in open session? I
Yeah,
thought we
we just
couldn't.
can't. Yeah, we just can't discuss the matters of which we're discussing about the individual. So we can do that. I just don't want anybody subscribing any opinion on them once we say the name.
I
That
prefer that we go into closed session just briefly to discuss it. And you can say the name. If somebody has a question, then it won't be out there that that person's name has been put forward. So I prefer going into closed session to discuss anything like that. And yes, I understand the process, but we have not been made aware of that person or received a letter of recommendation. So I don't know.
So someone make a motion to go into closed session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion to go into closed session made by Mrs. Bryant. It was seconded by Mr. O'Neill. All in favor to go into closed session for the purposes of discussing the reappointment of a ACC member, say aye or raise your hand. Aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, I can't see my camera. Any opposed? All right. There's none. Unanimous. So I'll go ahead and read our closing statement. Excuse me. Today's date is November 18th, 2025. The time is now 7:45 p.m. The location, all members are and participants are meeting virtual via Zoom. The motion to close was made by Mrs. Bryant, was seconded by Mr. O'Neill. All members were in favor. And the purpose for us to go into closed session is to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation for appointees, employees, or officials over whom this public body has jurisdiction, and any other personnel that matter that affects one or more specific individuals. At this time, we are going into closed session. We can stop the recording, and only board members and staff will be allowed in that meeting.
You're recording now.
Thank you so much. We are now back in the open session. The time is now 7:56 p.m. All right, so I'm going to what we discussed in the close of Mr. Melton. Would you mind, sir?
Sure. Is there a reopening statement that has to
Oh,
be?
no, sir. No. I didn't know if you wanted me to do it or you wanted to do it. That's all.
Yeah, I don't have the opening statement in front of me. I
No,
can.
we're good. We're back in open session. I
Okay.
gave the time, so we're good. You can go ahead, sir.
Okay. So after coming out of closed session, the PAB was able to discuss personnel matters related to an ACC appointment, of which the board voted in favor of supporting a reappointment for Serenity Garnett. The board voted to do a reappointment based on our previous discussion that we believe someone with a second term could then continue on in reappointment so long as the board was able to reach an agreement and vote on it. And we felt like our discussion and review of the recommendation by the ACC was sufficient.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And we will be sending a letter over to the ACC confirming that reappointment. Thank you again, Mr. Melton. I had stopped on the end report. Mr. Sanchez, sir, did you do the strategic plan? Oh, yes, you did. Sorry, check that off. Reschedule. Okay. Mr. Melton, was that all you had, sir? We should just put your name on the whole agenda. Thank you so much for doing all of that, sir. All right, next up was next agenda item, new business, reschedule or cancel. We're looking at through three potential things that we have to make a decision on. Would be November 26, 2025's meeting. That is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So are we going to meet that day, or do we want to meet it a day before? I think, well, I'll leave this up to the board. Did we meet last week? I mean, last year? I thought we met the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
I'm not 100% sure. It's a little foggy, but I felt like we agreed to meet and then ended up canceling.
Okay. So is everyone okay with meeting November 26th?
Mr. Milton was right.
Okay. Is everyone okay with meeting November 26th?
I don't have any objection.
Okay.
Are we talking about next Wednesday? That's what we talking about?
November 26th, yes.
Hmm?
Yes,
Yeah.
November 26th is next Wednesday. All right, so nobody's saying anything, so I guess we'll go ahead.
My recommendation would be, if we're going to have that meeting, to plan for it to be virtual. Or if it's not, definitely for the subcommittees and others to work on their reports so that gets done. So either schedule it for all virtual or cancel it.
Or find
Yes.
out right now who's going to be in attendance, because I know I won't be here.
Won't
So
be.
you want to make sure you have a quorum, because you can say, yeah, let's have a meeting, and then you don't have enough people to attend the meeting. So you may want to find out right now, if you decided to have it, how many would be here,
Got you.
even
Yeah.
if it's virtual.
I'm not physically going to be here, but I will be able to attend virtually.
Okay.
And Vice Chair James, you did say, or the subcommittees can meet as well, correct? Did I hear you say that?
I was just using that as an option for use at that time, is what I was saying.
All right. I'll be here on third. I'll be available. And I know Mrs. Maxwell will not. Will there be anyone who will not be available? Okay, so we have enough to have for.
We're gonna do it in person or just do it virtual? What?
Want to do it virtual? And I guess the same thing for December 24th. That might be a little tough.
I would not recommend scheduling a meeting on the 24th. Perhaps we could do it
Right.
the first week rather than then.
I will prioritize being able to see December 25th by not allowing my family to see me on the computer on December 24th. So I will say I'm not available that day.
Okay, so
Yeah.
before the 25th is Thursday, Friday.
Sorry, for practical purposes, did you all say that you wanted to meet on the 26th?
That of November?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Virtual.
I think the county might be closed.
Really? Can you
Like,
confirm that, Ms. Ogeni?
I think the county office is
No.
closed.
No,
Like
they're closed that Friday, unless
day
it's
after.
changed. It's Thursday and Friday, not Wednesday.
Okay.
I know, but I think, okay.
I'm just saying, something could have changed, but
I think they may do it
they're
early.
usually open on Wednesday.
What'd you say, Mr. Melton?
Sometimes governments will do an early closure.
Yeah,
okay.
that's what I'm saying. They'll do an early closure. And
Well, they didn't used to,
yeah,
unless they do it
we're
now.
usually
We've never
excused
did an early
early that
closure.
Wednesday. And I wouldn't want to be, I mean, Ebony, I'm speaking on her behalf, but I know she wouldn't want to tell staff who have been excused early to come back at 6:30 the day before Thanksgiving to
Oh, I
host a
understand.
meeting.
In the evening, I understand, so.
Yeah. So it could be departmental that they're allowing employees to leave early as opposed to the
Yeah.
county being closed early. That's
Right.
that
But
costs too much money.
I'm
Um,
just, as a practical matter, I just don't think that would be good for staff morale. I think what the PAB has done in the past has moved it up by a day, I think, which would be more palatable.
On Tuesday.
So I don't know if that's a consideration for you all, if that
Make a-
might.
I'll make a motion that we move it up one day to the 24th, or whatever the Tuesday prior to Thanksgiving. That would be next week though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
21st and Tuesday. Will anybody be available Tuesday?
Yeah, I'll be available.
Okay. I may be traveling, but I should be here. If not, then I'll.
You still talking about virtual though? What?
Yeah, we're still talking about virtual. All right, so the motion was made by
Folks,
Ms.
I just want to encourage everybody to just get engaged, speak up. I think this will go a lot quicker if we can hear from everybody, get confirmation from everybody. If you got concerns or issues, just tell us. I think it would give us a better opportunity to get to these resolutions a little quicker and hopefully avoid any problems in the future. We've been having meeting cancellations. We got a lot of work to do. We got an annual report. So it's just good if we can just kind of speak up now so we can utilize the most of our meeting.
Hey, I did make a motion though, so it wasn't a second. So I guess that died.
No,
All right.
I don't think everyone heard it. I think so. The motion was made by Mrs. Bryant to meet on the 21st, which is the next Tuesday, a week from today.
Is it 20? Is it 20 what?
21st, a week from today.
No, it would be the 25th.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah,
25th?
25th.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it said the 20th.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
count, Mr. Sanchez. You didn't have to say it like that, sir. Okay. Wait a minute. Oh, I had the wrong calendar up. Good excuse, Kelvin. Good excuse. Okay, wait a minute. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Okay, got it. So it would be, yes, the 25th. Next Tuesday, 6:30. Motion was made by Ms. Bryan to schedule a meeting for November 25th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. All in favor to schedule the meeting that week?
No, we haven't had a
I'm sorry,
second.
need a second. Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. I was doing what Mr. Melton said, just going fast. I apologize. Is there a second?
Second, go ahead. So we go.
Seconded by Mr. O'Neill. All in favor to meet on November 25th at 6:30 p.m., which is a Tuesday. Say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
1, 2.
Aye.
Wait a minute. Can't count. Okay. Mr. O'Neill, Mr. Melton, Mr. Sanchez. Okay, Mrs. Springs, thank you, Mrs. Maxwell, and myself. So it would be, Mrs. Bryant, thank you. So that would be 7 to 2, 7-4, and 2 against. So the motion passes to meet on the 25th of November.
For clarity, I voted for, not just so the numbers are correct.
Oh, so
Point of clarification, is this a virtual or in-person meeting?
virtual. Yes, ma'am. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I said 7 to 2. We have 9 board members. 7-4, 2 against. Motion passes. Got it, Mrs. O'Gany?
Have
Good.
to,
Oh, cool.
yes.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Okay, great. All right, next up, December 24th. Noted. I guess Mr. James will say the same things. He don't want his family to see him the day before Christmas. So, are we going to move that one up? Let me pull up the calendar.
I would say based on what Ms. Ogini said earlier, and that may be something that we need to consider moving up earlier into that week, maybe the 22nd, 23rd. Maybe we will have the document back from its review so that we can make sure we finally approve it, and that would be it for the year. So I don't think we should cancel. I would recommend we reschedule that, moving it up.
To the 23rd. Is that okay?
20.
22nd is Monday.
I think the
23rd.
22nd, yeah, Monday.
So you want to move it up to Monday? All right. So someone will make a motion.
So moved.
Will this be virtually or in person?
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Okay.
Virtually. Sorry. All right. Motion was made by Mrs. Bryant to schedule a meeting for Monday, the 22nd at 6:30 p.m. of December. Was there a second?
Second, yes.
Seconded by Mr. O'Neill. All in favor to schedule a meeting for that date? Raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, looks like everybody got everyone. All right. Any against?
I'm just abstaining because I don't know if I can make it, so I don't want to vote either way.
Okay, so you're going to abstain from the vote. And then if you can make it, then you'll just be there, Mr. Melton. Okay. So we will do 8-1, Ms. O'Guiney. 8-4, 0 against, and 1 abstaining, which beat Mr. Melton.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay. All right, hold on. All right. Next up, fourth quarter's Chiefs meeting. We can reschedule that. We can reach out to the Chiefs again to schedule it. If everybody wants to do that, can do that.
Does that count as something we had to do because it was we were supposed to do quarterly?
Yep.
Okay.
It was the fourth quarter meeting, so as long as we do it in the fourth quarter of the year, we're still in compliance.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay.
I do have to say something here, though. It takes
Go ahead,
months. It takes months to set that up because what you're trying to do is you're trying to coordinate the schedules of like 6 chiefs,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so it's not so easy to pick a date and say, oh, let's have it on this date. Tangi literally has to call each person, figure out who's going to be here on what day, try and get them. Sometimes she even has to persuade them, try and work with their schedule, see if they're not going to be there, can they send a deputy, all that kind of stuff. It literally takes months. And so if you guys were to just sort of pick a date, we can't guarantee that any of the chiefs will be available.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're talking about fourth quarter, I mean, that's over with in a month.
Yeah.
And right now we're up against, holiday holiday events and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know that it's going to be as easy as just picking a date.
I see Mrs. Bryant's hand up. So I did reach out to a couple of chiefs, and they said if we give them a date, then they will make sure that they will be available.
I just, am I being recognized?
You are now, ma'am.
I think it's indefensible that we canceled a meeting with 3-hour notice for no apparent reason. And I would hope that that never happens again. I don't know what you were referring to with regard to your personal issue that you expressed about somebody saying something about you personally, that you would cancel a required quarterly meeting. I think that's frankly, I think it's inexcusable and it violates your requirements as the chair of this board. I can't express how strongly I feel about it, considering that we have had several skipped meetings. But when you have the chiefs and all the work that Tangi goes through to get that set up, for you to unilaterally cancel the meeting, I think it's inexcusable.
Oh, I thank you so much, and I completely agree. Was not due to the statement of me being drunk made by one of the board members. So let me state that for the record. It's number one.
That's
Number
what
two,
your
it was
email
not.
said.
Ma'am, I have the floor. Again, it wasn't because of that. My email read that I had a concern with some issues that was taken during the meeting. Did not know that we did not have legal counsel. So that was very concerning. We're supposed to have legal counsel. I never got anything until that day that there was no legal counsel. So I can pull my email up and I'll show it. But right now, I recognize Ms. Coleman real quick while I pull my email up.
Thank you for recognizing me, Mr. Chair, and I concurred. He did not cancel it unilaterally. Once he found out, he reached out to several folks. I actually encouraged it to be canceled based on the information that we found out, that several of us found out, which I said in my email back to Mr. James, a piece of information that we found out that had to do with the reason why we don't have counsel at this meeting. So I would suggest at this juncture that we go into closed session like we had planned so we can discuss this matter. And I get that the chiefs meetings are important and we want to make sure that we engage with law enforcement, but this matter supersedes that and frankly, any other business that we discuss. This matter is urgent and we need to go into closed session. So if there's a motion, I will make the motion to go into closed session.
Motion made to go into closed session by Dr. Coleman. Is there a second?
I second it.
Seconded by Mr. Bryant. All in favor to go into closed session, say aye.
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 Oh, show your hands. I'm sorry. Okay. Let me get back to my screen. Anyone? Sorry, go back to my screen. All in favor is aye. Any opposed? Mr. Melton? One.
No, I'm not opposed. I was
Oh,
looking it up from before.
are you trying to test me to see if my eyeglasses is working, sir? Okay. So, he's opposed. So there was there. Oh, so let's do it again. All in favor to go into closed session, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? I see no hands. I see no one. Motion to go into closed session. Approved. I will read our closing statement. Excuse me. Today's date is November 18th, 2025. The time is now 16 p.m. The location is virtual via Zoom. Motion to go into closed session was made by Dr. Coleman, was seconded by Mrs. Bryant. All members were in favor. The purpose for us to go into closed session is to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom this public body has jurisdiction, and any other personnel matter that affects one or more specific individuals. At this time, 8:16, committee is in closed session. Can we place anybody in the waiting room that is not a board member? Thank you. We are now back in open session. It's 9:45 p.m.
Wait, hold on 1 second. People are still joining. Okay, now.
We are back in open session. It's 9:45 p.m. We'll pick up on the next agenda item. We went over the agenda. Ms. Ogini, you usually let me know we did not have any public comment. Is that correct, ma'am?
No,
No.
you have to affirm what you just did.
Right, but before I do that, I'm just gonna move
Okay.
on. I just wanted to make sure because I know that they've been waiting. So if anyone wants to make public comment, I didn't want to hold them up any longer.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So I'm assuming that we have nobody who signed up for public comment. Okay, great. So next up, will someone make a motion to confirm the actions that were taken in the first closed session regarding the ACC appointment?
I make a motion to approve the actions that were done in the first closed session regarding the ACC reappointment.
Thank you, ma'am.
Seconded by Lafayette Melton.
Thank you, sir. Motion made to approve the actions taken in the first open and closed session. First closed session concerning the reappointment of the ACC member, Serenity Garnett, made by Dr. Coleman. It was seconded by Mr. Melton. All in favor to confirm those actions taken in that first closed session, say aye or raise your hand. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes unanimously. Next up is the second. Would somebody make a motion to approve the actions that were taken in the second closed session when we discussed personnel matters with members of the board?
I make a motion to confirm the actions taken where we discuss personnel matters with the board.
Seconded.
Motion made by Mr. Melton to confirm the actions that was taken in the second closed session to discuss personnel matters considered board members. Seconded by Mrs. Springs. All in favor to confirm those actions, say aye or raise your hand. Right, any opposed? Okay, there are none. Motion passes unanimously. I don't have any announcements. Mr. James, do you have any announcements?
I don't have any.
Okay, Ms. Ogini. All right, thank you, ma'am. That's it. This is Mrs. Springs' favorite part of the meeting, I think.
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
All right, motion to adjourn made by Mrs. Springs. Is there a second? Dr. Coleman, did you say second being on mute? You were on mute, so can you just state?
Second,
Okay.
sorry, I didn't hit it hard enough.
No worries, seconded by
Second.
Dr. Coleman. All in favor to adjourn, say aye. Aye, or raise your hand.
Aye.
Yes, ma'am, that count. You only get one vote, Mrs. Springs. You only get one vote. Any opposed? None. All right. Meeting adjourned at 9:48 p.m. Everyone have a great evening. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. O'Ganney. You can stop the recording.